people are doing, isn't it?
Yeah. I think fair play, shout out to Aprilia, fair play to them, they've worked hard. Kind of celebration.
Do you think he's happy?
Like it.
He's going to be on the back foot all year, so have to put right for next season if they want to keep the talented Italian.
It's up to put himself on the second round to win, but all the same, it's incredibly impressive. And look what he's doing with his arm right now.
It's an unbelievable achievement. I think people who say, no, until you get on these bikes, you just don't know what's going to happen. So it is the physicality of this track and the bikes, unbelievable.
Neil Hobson and Gavin Emmett.
Thanks very much, Susie. A huge unknown ahead of us. 2 weeks out, 2 so far. We're live and ready to go from Portugal. What he can do today. He's only managed to see him working his arms there 6 laps consecutively during the weekend. But David Zermatt's come back, haven't you, between the 2 world champions? A ton of pace further back from row 4-2. Oliveira winning equal Acrona, suffering after he also had arm pod surgery like Jack Miller. Second half, he can't even win it because he's stopped.
As you can see, Marquez focusing on trying to relax his arm like little bit. So he's the great unknown, 25 laps on this physical track.
The conditions, it's a fantastic racetrack, but the pace hasn't been there this weekend. Temperatures up to 41 degrees track.
Very fast, but he's qualified 12. Can he get a good start? What's going to
closest ever motorcycle circuit and Fabio Quartararo's heart rate all. And when they go out, the Portuguese Grand Prix is underway. Original wheelie away from the line, but Marquez now in 4th place, thinking about attacking Miller, and he does do so. 6th place ahead of Frankie Moore.
He had to back out a bit. Oh, Mia's straight away under Marquez in turn 10.
Oh, no lost already between them now from the world champion. The Suzuki does get away well, doesn't it? Ducati, yes.
The man who let it happen, just get a shocking start.
He started 11th, crossed the line in 11th, and actually just ran back as well. Marquez is sat up.
Was that just runs in and touches the back as we see. Oh, Mia,
if they weren't friends before, that's getting worse and worse by the minute. Down towards 14 once more. It's a Ducati from 2 Suzuki. It looks like Espargaro is attacking the question marks about Mark having been out. That was the judgment lead for Jack Miller attacking down into turn 5. He's stuck in a break deep. He has to surely. And he's carrying that bit more pace through there.
Yeah, it's just the nature of that corner. Now, when you go downhill into turn 5, you go break somebody.
Here comes Rins again in turn 13.
He hadn't looked into the previous lap.
Look at this from at the top of the screen. Turn 1, that's 1 Mia.
Yeah, what's happening with Marquez? Like I said, everyone can see he's not obviously at this moment in time to go.
It's 4th out, it's got time. Turn 3. Rins is desperate to get past. He wants to get out front.
In 2 play lap.
With the hard tyre. And that's
here we go. Third time lucky.
Is he going to run wide though? Sarko tries to stick on the outside this time, maybe through a signal manoeuvre.
Is he past? I think he is.
He just went the outside.
Is he past?
From the Aprilia up to 5th place now.
Yeah. And if he finishes there, that'll be his best ever finish, won't it?
Oh, and it's Polisago who's going to retire. He had a massive crash yesterday, but it doesn't look physical. It looks like a...
on his Maverick Vignales. Oh, here we go, Rins again, and he's favourite.
Here we go! No. And on the brakes this time, Fabio Quartararo's gone. Someone's crashed out here, and it's one of the Ducatis. Is it Miller? I think it might be Jack Miller.
Yeah, it's Miller.
And he's looking up as if he might have been fat in 5th. There he is.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. As soon as he got on the brakes, so really straight.
Aleix Espargaro on the Aprilia is coming, and he's bringing with him company in the form of Frankie Morbidelli, who's on the podium. What a disaster for the Portuguese fans who unfortunately can't be here. They welcome Miguel Oliveira in at the start of the weekend, and they think there and find out who's going to come through. So Mark Marquez drops to 9th place. Got
downhill on the brakes.
Pretty early as well. Regular more. The undulations of this circuit make it such a spectacular venue. Front Rins from Fabio Quartararo's to brave it. But it's right in the slot for that tyre now, isn't it? And Rins does go wide there. He'll hang on through turn 4, something in hand towards the end of the race. Having on the hard tyre.
Pulls it tight. Right, straight manoeuvre.
Here's Morbidelli shipping to the point where the Suzuki have their pace in the 40. If they go too much quicker, there's nothing left at the end of it.
He wants to force their hand.
It feels so wide and open for Rins, but he's just aiming for that late apex, isn't he? Quartararo's down into turn 1, and he is going to go through, Neil. He is. Fabio Quartararo's going to take over. Is he going to be able to hang on to it?
Next lap time, he's going to tell us the story of the race.
He can pull away in this instance. Talk us through this start, Neil, from
what he's jumping. A good jump, initial jump, it gets away, and you think, oh,
Vinales is currently running in 17th. Remember, he started down in 12th on the grid.
Oh!
Strange, wasn't it? But seems to be affecting Quartararo. Or does Mia have the kind of pace to try and fight back? Rins, I felt Mia
into the 39
feeling. It's satellite fight, the one he left last year, Johan Sarko, who leads the championship. Remember, he was on the
long race for Mark Marquez. He slipped back So he's in 9th place. He's about 0.7 behind Elation Spark.
Maybe a little bit wide through there. Later apex from him.
Yeah, it's a proper racer, isn't it? You can't help but feel for KTM, though. They must be disappointed. We're here at the 3rd round.
We can be in the mix. We won this race last year. We should be there. But they've not been happy, have they, with the choice of tyres that they've been given, and they just don't want to see it.
Everyone did a lot of laps around now. That's sort of confusing for a lot of the riders, changing the settings, trying to understand the feeling. But as soon as he could feel the sensation, and that's another 39. It is 1 minute 39.8.
But you know what? Behind him, Neil, 13 and a half laps as Budaya makes his way through on Brad Binder and up into 6th place. He's going to say about rear grip, and that was the worry, wasn't it? Yeah. And why people have stayed away from it. They seem more, and you just feel, I reckon after the race, you'll speak to Vinales, I didn't have the grip I needed in the rear.
The bit I don't understand about, and his lap 30 was a 1 minute 40.
Well, he still hasn't been used to trouble. Yeah, you do feel like the late switch is going to cost him. It isn't costing Quartararo, making it worse after he closed in on his pal, Frankie Morbidelli.
Decent lap time again. We've been here in the race last year, 12 months ago, well, not 12 months, so 5 months ago. Jack Miller, that is, seemed to crash out of the race.
Pretty much the gap between the two Suzuki riders. You just feel Quartararo can keep going at this. Fabio Quartararo, 139.6, and that could be the one that breaks the back of basically in turn 5, ahead of Johan Zarco on the top Ducati. Bagnaia still in behind. Also because he didn't get the lightning start you might expect from Bagnaia.
Ducati, he's so fast.
That's Zarco on that previous couple of laps. He just sucked him behind here. And he's just pulled the pin, hasn't he? Out of the final. And it was only 7
out really, and win by 4 seconds.
He's got to find a way to at least show the wheel. Try and upset Prince in Qatar. Sat behind, both rated. Sat behind, didn't he? Sat there waiting at a much better pace than Vinales, for example.
Just past his brother, so kind of the time zone, he's saying he's having a good left edge is worn quite on the right side, it's okay.
They are asymmetric, aren't they? The rear side, harder edge on Brad Binder behind him. So it's a case of don't think about behind, have a go in front.
Yeah, just so you know though, that was already,
isn't it?
Yeah, so up to Craig Jones, it levels off, there's no camber here, so it's so easy to do. We've seen that catch a lot of people out
during clear issue,
and that's what we learned.
Oh, and Maverick Vinales is getting a track limits warning also. So 2 of the Yamahas
side. In the past, you always knew, Gab, when you'd gone off the curb, you can feel it. You can feel the edge of the slow-mo footage, and obviously the sensors in the curb detected that are part of the
lead, aren't we? Than we did 5 months ago. We did get a great.
Martin has managed to get into some sort of rhythm now. Now, with less than 10 laps to go, I think he could see the finish line. Lap times at the front, Gab.
Almost identical, 1,000 separating Quartararo and Rim. But Ray Jones' corner up to the top. This is where balance.
Yes, he is. But every time you see your pit board and that gap stays the same, or it's coming down a fraction. Every lap that goes in lead, you're constantly battling with these inner thoughts.
Do you know what other inner thoughts though he'll get if he can do this?
Well, unfortunately, we're seeing the same Maverick Vinales with his problems, but unfortunately, you can't replicate being in a race in a pressure situation. And what we're
seeing is having a day to forget, and it's Alex Rins.
Oh.
I don't believe it. From second place, we're saying all these lovely things.
I've got to give him the respect that he wasn't prepared to finish second, fighting hard. And it's an easy corner to crash downhill off. I feel for him.
You've got to feel for Alex Rins in this situation. You know what he's done?
His pit board, got that Rins out. You've got 3.8 seconds.
But he's broken him. When you talk about broken his spirit, unfortunately he's broken by it. He's not going to score points even if he wanted to. Right, we go on board with Johan Zarco. Pecco Bagnaia from 11th on the grid.
Absolutely. Well, he should have stuck for pole position if he didn't have gone past that yellow flag. But yeah, he looked fast all weekend. Certainly had to put in some really hard work.
Championship leader is down.
I was just watching him, Gab. I saw them down.
Fabio Quartararo not only will take over the lead in the championship, but
over the crest, it flattens out.
Yeah.
You see the back fishtailing. Oh, you saw it. Even the warning sign. It literally said, the front tyre talks to you. You brake in and it's going flat.
And who can blame it?
Who can blame? What a feeling that is, Gab. When you go over the line and you see, you basically go over the line and you think, I've got this. Stay with Quartararo, but he dug in, he grit his teeth, and eventually just pushed over that limit.
And it had to be at turn 5.
It's just far, yeah. He's currently in 6th place. Just 0.7 of a second behind 5th, Brad Binder.
Well, they are all closing in too. As you saw there, Morbidelli nearly 2 tenths quicker than Mir. Mir has struggled, hasn't he, later on in this? He's running it until the end of the race. The Ducati, for some reason, they seem to be able to get a softer tyre on the rear.
One walk back into your pit. Nothing to be ashamed of. Easily done.
It was yawing, wasn't it?
It was. Okay, if he'd have finished 4th, he'd still lead the championship. Like, but then, if you drop back, the team then complain. Actually, the reality dome.
3 laps to go when they cross the line. First race, media at the way they started the season. criticism at Yamaha for not giving Frankie the factory.
Chasing me. I can't hide it.
That's subtle, isn't it? It's not a coded message, championship. As we go on board with Budaya looking back at me, the factory team. So what am I doing here? What other options are there for me? You can't blame him for exploring them. The good news is all to make work. So, Budaya, just a little wobble from him as they head through two and up towards a tight gap to not come under pressure from Mia or Morbidelli. But Morbidelli again on that last lap, dipping in.
New motorcycle, this new chassis.
That's exactly about sports psychology. He said he has been so honest. I loved it how he spoke at the start of the year. As Budaya, a little bit last year, the prospect of leading a championship, I've never done it. It's not like Mia, not like Marquez, who've won them in the lower classes, and talk it through, and it seems to have it working. I tell you what, Pecco Bagnaia has responded, hasn't he?
He has. But at this moment in time, no one's close enough to have a lunge. If to do it will not end good at all. So
champion style, hasn't he, Fabio Quartararo? Never a Grand Prix world champion. He's going to lead the push. It's going to stay this way as they come through the penultimate corner for the final time. Brilliant ride from Marc Marquez, the Magic Man, on his return. Meanwhile, at the front, Fabio Quartararo celebrates back-to-back wins on the Yamaha. Bagnaia is second, out of racing action. That's a very solid 7th place. All credit to Takada Kagami for participation in this championship, and your challenge is on the cards.
It really is, Gav. That Yamaha always works well around the rest, and like you said, winning both
is going to work. So it's a fantastic start to the year for Yamaha. 3 wins for them, but 2.
I can't believe
that's making a decision based on what other people are doing, isn't it?
Yeah. I think fair play, shout out to Aprilia, fair play to them, they've worked hard. Celebration.
Do you think it's
like it? New chassis, new engine, new swinging arm, new aero package. Yes, it worked in Qatar, but we know Malaysia's a bit special around there.
Well, I want to point out Enea Bastianini, who had a personal best lap on the last lap of the race, and 9th place for Bastianini. The
Mud-10 finish, fair play.
How's he going to be feeling now? He said before, I feel he's been really honest about it, knowing what his arm's capable of, a little bit of work on the muscle.
I was about to say, would you bet against him being on the podium in the next?
Credit to the world champion, Joan Mir, picked up some vital championship.
Yeah, suffer, and that's the aftermath. But I can't explain.
Is he nice? Is he smiling? Or is it off camera, or is it all for show? None of this is for show. I can tell you, I can promise something with racing again, and that effort will stand him in such good stead as the race goes on. You can see
he's only young anyway, Fabio Quartararo, but he looks 10 years younger. Just relaxed, the release.
In the first, progress through from Brad Binder, and actually I do feel when we get to play,
Petrucci was 13, how many seconds behind?
Yeah, he was
20. I agree with Frankie. Tomoke made a really good job. We are here in the podium, so it's a really good reward.
It has been very strong, and I couldn't manage to overtake a lot of riders. For me last year was very difficult, so I'm very happy.
Watching, and yeah.